Well, actually, I wanted to make a film about my aunt who was disabled, and she had an incredible love life, and she resists against her family and did her own thing, and I was really impressed when I was a kid. And then I was like, yeah, but why I do not see any disabled people in Germany? Where are they? I can't see them, I can't find them. And through a friend of mine, I got to know a woman who is disabled. She had an accident and she's now paralyzed. And I met her to make, first for research reason, and then we talked like, I don't know, 6 hours. And afterwards I was like, oh, I will change my plan. I will now do a film with her and with other disabled people, with other real people. And make it more like the plot. There is a plot. I had a plot, but also with these people I discussed what kind of filming we are doing, and we made like 1 year a test shooting. How can we do this? And because we actually wanted to make a fiction, that was also what the actors wanted. And and then it all took like 6 years to make the whole movie. No, it had something to do with the topic, or with the kind of filmmaking. I wanted to make it more like a fiction, because the original voices made it, although it was fiction, made it like more like a documentary feeling, and you always had the feeling, this is the character, this is the other, it's really far from you. And through the familiar, seductive, professional actor's voice, suddenly the characters became really close to you, and you have the feeling, you are inside the situation, especially because one of the characters has a voiceover. She's leading through the film. Nora, you are going into the story through her perspective, and that makes a totally different feeling than with non-professional voices. So and the boundaries are blurred. Like, it has something to do with the content, because also the life of these characters, they are also like, they deal a lot about boundaries, and and that was the reason why I did it. Well, on my research, I had the idea to make it with a guy from Africa, with a refugee. And on my research, I found the actor who's playing Amadou, and I asked him, would you play that, and is it real? Do you think it will work? And he was like, yeah, it's not my story, but I have friends who are doing that for political reasons, to stay in Germany. And I was like, my aunt, for example, she had in her love life, she was quite rich, and she had lovers who were after her money, and it was like, yeah, but that's not a story from nowadays. I wanted to make it more like nowadays, and so I had the feeling, okay, this is an appropriate lover for Nora, and because they are also they both are really dependent. They are dependent on the state, on the family, which is also kind of state, and so they are having the same feeling of being dependent on someone, and not to have civil rights, because Nora, for example, she is under legal guardianship of her mother, and Amadou is dependent on the state, and so that was the reason why I put them together. Like, they are lovers, and they are maybe lovers because of the circumstances, but in the story I wanted to make it also, they have a kind of emotional connection though. I would say the situation is not really good, but this society, this kind of normal people in Germany, or as well in other countries, they have this kind of feeling of uniformity and normality, and it's kind of there's no alternative. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to make a movie about that. I want to make the movie that it's positive, that you have the feeling, but they are strong characters, they can deal with that. And I think it's necessary to if you show how bad the situation is, you have to give a hope, and I think that was the reason why I did that. I think it's really important for that movie.